up? It's your girl Diva, and welcome back to Diva's house. So today we're talking blending and foundation application for today's class. So stay tuned for today's fun class. I'm back. So up until now, you guys have learned some great lessons in terms of makeup brush cleaning. I've shared storage ideas and how to make your space unique. We talked about throwing out old makeup, and we've even talked about priming and of course brows, all of which are part of our everyday makeup routines, except for the makeup storage part. But of course we've gone over priming our face, doing our brows. So now we're going to get into blending and foundation. Now I'm not going to do what foundations work for each person's skin, because we'd be here all day talking about different foundations. And yes, they are different types of foundation, and if you know your skin type, like I talked about in priming your face for success, if you didn't see that video, I will post a link to that down below. But if you know your skin type, then you know what type of foundations that you need to use. I'm also going to post a link to the Finding Your Shade video I did a long time ago on a site that I found called findnation.com. And that's about finding the foundation for your skin. Now, if you're not sure about using just a site like that because you may not know what foundation shade you are, then visit your local Sephora or MAC and have one of the professionals help you find your shade. But I will post a link to that video down below also if you did not see that video. So right now I have no makeup on because this is going to be a two-part video. First, we're going to talk about, of course, blending and foundation application in terms of some brushes to use and how we blend our shadow. Because I've seen quite a few videos or seen quite a few posts where girls say, you know, I'm still learning and I have trouble with blending my shadows. So we're going to talk about blending shadows today. The last video, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit though. The last video in this series, class-wise, is going to be fun because we're going to be talking beauty hacks. And you guys just have to stay tuned for that one. I found some great hacks. Some of you may already know. For those who don't know, this is going to be a great video for you guys because it's going to be great hacks to help you do your makeup and do for application wise. So like I said, this is going to be a two-part video because of course it's Friday. So that means Tutorial Friday, and the look for today is a look that I did not get to do for a Get Ready With Me. And the lovely Coils of Love, I hope I said your name right, but she follows me on Instagram, she follows me here, and she always has great comments for me. Asked me to do a redo of a look that I did for when I went to work, and I'll post a picture right here. Alright guys, so for time-saving purposes, because like I said, this is going to be we're talking about blending and foundation, but this is also going to lead into Tutorial Friday's look. So for me, it helps to have a good blending brush. Now, I have quite a few. Of course, you want your blending brush to be fluffy. This one has product on it. I'm trying to see if I have one that doesn't have product on it. My Sigma brush, for example, is a nice fluffy brush. This is the tapered blending brush. It's an E35 brush from Sigma. And this is great for your transition area, applying your transition area. For your crease, I like to use a more detailed blending brush. So like I have this one from e.l.f. that's very detailed and it's great for getting directly into my crease. So I'm going to show you guys how I blend everything. So here we have what I'm using for my transition color. That's Max Saddle. I'm going to go ahead and take my blending brush. I'm actually going to use my one from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to go into that and get some product on my brush. And then I'm going to begin to do my transition area. And you just want to use a light hand and sweep that product into your transition area, lightly applying that product. Okay, now that after my phone is done ringing, I'm gonna go in with like this purpley shade here, like mauve type, well, it's not mauve, but more of a burgundy-ish purpley shade here. And I'm going to go in with that with my more detailed blending brush. And I'm gonna go into that with my crease. So now with this too, you don't want to be too heavy-handed because you want the look to start to come together slowly. Take your time when blending your foundation. I mean, your shadows. So I'm just going to blend that in into my crease with that detailing brush. You can choose to use like the side sweeping motions from side to side. Some people use circular motions, but I like to just use a light hand and go back and forth. And then when I get to my outer V part, I like to kind of use circular motions to blend that in there. And my inner corner here. Now what I want to do is kind of blend upward a little bit. So I blend that into my transition. So now you can kind of see that the two colors are starting to slowly blend together. What I then do sometimes is I take that same blending brush that I use for my transition and kind of go back over lightly and blend those two colors together. So now you don't see any harsh lines, and that's the key to blending. You don't want to see any harsh lines when applying your shadows. You want everything to kind of look very seamless and cohesive. So next I'm going to take a, let's see, I think I have an angled brush. I'm going to go in with this angled brush and go into my Self-Made palette, and I'm going to grab Hot Chocolate. And I'm going to add that to my outer V. And that kind of just blends into, but you have a, I wasn't going for a smoky look when I did that look. I was going very fall. But I'm kind of applying that on top of my transition in my outer V here, so it all kind of looks together, but I'm going lightly. So the key to blending is not being too heavy handed and going very, very lightly. Now just so you guys know, I am really looking at this picture for reference because I did this like days ago. So next I'm gonna go in with a shadow brush. And I'm going to show you guys how I pat on this color. And I believe it was from my Self-Made palette too. Yes, it was this color called, I think it was Sherbet that I used. And we're going to pat that right on our lid. Now you don't want to rub that on you want to pat that on, because one of the things that it does now, it goes into that other color, but it's not causing it to look like it doesn't blend. The patting motion is great for trying to blend into another color and cause like a feathered kind of look. So now you see that sherbet color going in, it just looks like it's feathering into that chocolate, making it all work together. So you always want to pat your shadows on. This way you get a nice buildable look. And now it looks like it feathers in to that chocolate that I put out on the end. So next I'm going to go into my inner tear duct with the color Treasure from the Self Made palette. And I'm going to kind of put that right here into my inner corner here. And then slightly bring that up so that it blends into that sherbet color that I used. And then if anything, you take your blending brush. I would say grab a clean blending brush and smooth all of that out. And there we have it. So now all I'm going to do now is line that side, and we're going to do one side of my face for foundation. So I'll show you guys how I do the foundation. Alright guys, so for saving time again, I went ahead and prepped and primed with my MAC Prep and Prime and placed my concealer on. Now the trick for me that I feel like where I get a flawless look is I use this, of course, to color correct because I have very bad dark circles, but I like to apply my concealer underneath because I'm concealing those dark areas, and then I take a flat, almost looks like a foundation brush, but this is a little bit smaller. This is from one of my sets, and I just pat that into my skin, but I let it dry just a little bit before I do so. So yes, it helps to conceal very well. Now I'm going to take, for applying my foundation, now you have different options. Many people choose the traditional flat foundation brush. And yes guys, I do have to clean my brushes. Or they take something more of a rounded, fluffy brush, like almost like a blush brush, but it's great for buffing in your foundation and creating that flawless look. Or some people like to use their beauty blender. I have my handy dandy foundation brush from MAC, which is a very densely packed, flat, kind of angled flat top brush, which is great for me buffing in my foundation. I'm going to do this one side of my face so you guys can see, and I'm going to grab my, I love this foundation. Yeah, this might make my faves video, y'all. My NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. When I tell you this thing is so lightweight on my face, I often feel like I don't have anything on my face, and you really don't need a lot to apply. So I'm just going to tap this onto this side of my face. And what I like to do is kind of rub that in first. Make sure when you apply your foundation, you go down into your jawline area here, way down here, guys, and apply that foundation. So this way you have that going into your neck area. I'm not saying cover your neck with foundation, but bring that down into your neck area and just begin to really smooth that out.
There are so many choices. I could really use some help. Don't go it alone. Together,
I'm kind of pressing my foundation into my face, but if you notice too, because I let my concealer dry, you're not seeing those dark spots anymore. And what I love about this foundation brush, I'm able to get underneath my eye area and kind of just rub that all in. So applying your foundation is really all about the tools that you have. I found, like, when I first started applying my makeup, I used a flat foundation brush. But then I found, like, for me, it left me streaky. I haven't really so much to say mastered the whole beauty blending brush technique, but what I like about using the beauty blending brush, if you use the rounded part at the end, you can kind of tap that into your face. Not so much buff it into your face, but you still get a flawless second skin look. What I like about the buffing of a flat or rounded brush is that I get still this flawless finish, and it looks like second skin. And there we have, y'all see the difference? So there we have foundation. So I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks about blending, why it's so important to blend your shadows, because you don't want it to look harsh. You want everything to look nice and cohesive, and then of course you want to look flawless. And then of course with your foundation, it's all about having not only the correct foundation for your skin, but about having the right brush and application. Do what's comfortable for you until you get these techniques down and create